Welcome to this Way to Fire YouTube video, where today we're going to be doing an unboxing and review of the new terrain crate scenery from Mantic Games. So this was a Kickstarter of theirs about 18 months ago, which is delivered a little while ago to me, but the first time I got around to doing the video. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at and unbox the Battlefield terrain crate. So this is the Kickstarter version, as you can see with the Kickstarter logo on it up here at the top. And you see it's a fairly big box. I'm not sure if these are going to go on to retail. I think they've got a few leftovers that will, but then all the components of this will make up other products that they do. And then we're going to have a look at one of the new items as well. This is the King's Coffers. This is quite a small pack, and these are out for retail now at $7.99 in the UK. And you know, it's 6 pieces, plastic scenery. Very good for dungeons, very good for any sort of other sort of small scale skirmishes or anything like that, or D&D that you wanted to use them for. So we'll have a look at both of those items in a moment. So this is the box. You can see it's a hard cardboard. Mine isn't perfect. You can see it doesn't fit quite on as nicely as I would want, which is a little bit irritating. These grease marks are my fault after I unwrapped it and left it too close to the children. So let's have a look inside. Just normal cardboard box, not the stiffest. It's not very durable actually. Suspect an old terrain will come out of that and the box will probably go in. There's a component list. So that shows you everything that's in here. So you can see for most things there's 3 of. So the tents, for instance, there's 3 of. So I imagine when they come to bring these to retail, these will be 1 of each in this sort of campsite bit. But you can see the different packs. There's a cart site set, campsite set, scatter set, and then walls and fences. And again, I'm sure these will be 3 times what you would get in one of those smaller packs, I imagine, is what they'll do. And obviously perhaps multiples of for larger boxes. There's a little brochure, Mantic brochure, just showing the different games, Star Saga, Walking Dead, blah blah blah. There we go, and obviously all about a terrain crate as well, the other options for those. And here we have all of the plastic goodness, so let's have a little look at that. I'll give you some card dividers, I presume, to divide up the box, so you could store your stuff in here. So this is what it is. So you can, let's take them bit by bit. So we've got 3 of the tent sort of areas, whole bunch of walls, a bit of debris, a cart, and some hedges. So we'll look at them one at a time. So this is how this campsite bit has been set up as one package. So I presume for retail it will come out exactly as one package. That'll be one set there. So what you get is you get 2 bedrolls. I don't really know if they slept like that in the Middle Ages, but they seem to like sleeping like that in fantasy settings, it seems. So they look quite good on a dungeon floor when people are resting, for instance. Perhaps if you built a tavern or something, they'd look good in there. They don't actually go inside the tent because the tents are all closed, probably for ease of manufacture. So you can see it's hollow inside. Pretty durable. There's a little bit of give in it, but not much. And yeah, looks quite nice. The sagging on it on the tent roof looks appropriate for a tent. So that's my dog just scratching in the background there. We've got a fire pit and a fire to go in it. We do have 2 what looks slightly fiddly, but you can set these up here. So put your rotisserie chicken on the top like that. So that's quite a nice little feature. Seems a little bit over involved having the fire separate from that, but I guess that gives you options, because you can take that off and it gives you a separate one actually to put on just a spit without the chicken on the top. So yeah, I guess there's a few different narrative options you could use. You could obviously use the flames for a different setting. You've also got a pot, so the pot could, I guess, could probably, let's see if we can fit it in. Yeah, you can. So the pot could boil on the top of the kettle there. Yeah, that's quite cool. There's a little bit other camp debris. So there's a wood block and axe. Mine looks like it's going to need a little bit of repair actually. It's bent and broken a little, but it's still in. I guess you could take that off and it'd still be fine. It's an interesting little piece. I mean, not particularly useful, I would suggest, but you could perhaps use it if you use multi-basing for, say, Kings of War, Mantic's fantasy game. You may well want to put that on a base just to add a little bit extra. Nice, there's little scatter bits of scenery in amongst buildings that you may have as well, so that's okay. A little bit more debris here, just bedrolls and baggage, packs and stuff. That look good in any RPG setting. Yeah, no problem with that whatsoever. And then finally there's an A-frame tent. So again, looks pretty good, pretty sturdy, this one. I can see that working for anything actually. That would even suit sort of historicals, Roman sort of tents or anything like that. Yeah, I think that could work really nicely in any setting. Even up to fairly modern day. Certainly if you cut the wooden bits off here, it would look no different than a sort of a World War II style tent actually, if you painted it in some sort of olive drab or something. So yeah, it's good. That's the first pack. I guess let's look for scaling. Let's put it at scaling just next to this goblin. So this is a Mantic Games goblin. So you can see for scale purposes, it looks pretty good. A human would obviously be a little bit taller. Not bad at all. So next up we've got the horse and cart. Let's have a look inside this pack. Again, I suspect this will come as a separate, I'm guessing the price, but probably $7.99. Let's look at the bits that might go in the back first. These are very nice. I like that a lot. Plastic sort of marketplace mixed bag of stuff. I've got some barrels, some grain sacks, some fruit and veg. I've got another smaller one here. They look very nice in any game, Guild Ball, Dungeon Saga, D&D of course, or again on like a multi-base. The cart, a bit warped. Now you can fix this because it's quite soft PVC really. You can see that there's a lot of bits here that have warped in the packaging. Quite easy to fix actually. Hot water from the kettle, that will make it very soft. You bend it into position and then you either hold it in position for 20 or 30 seconds or you dip it in cold water from the tap and that will fix that without any problem whatsoever. This one is a bit annoying because there's lots of different bits and like the wheels will be a bit awkward to do that on, but it is doable. It's just because the plastic's quite soft. The horse comes as two parts that have already been glued together. That's fairly good. It's quite an anatomically correct horse, I think, actually, which is not always what you see. Perhaps should be slightly longer in the back, but these are dray horses, so they're not usually the biggest. And yeah, it looks like it goes together like that. Would work fairly well on there. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And obviously you can put the items that you've got here on the back. So that is a fully loaded wagon. Don't get a rider for it to go up the front, but I reckon you could probably manage to convert any sort of rider from any, you know, wolf rider or horse rider, whatever you had to hand, to probably be suitable on there, unless they were a bit too military, because it doesn't really look like a military wagon, does it? But yeah, that's okay. Next up we have some mixed bits and pieces. So this is, I think, the same as their Dungeon Debris box, which is about $7.99. And you can see it's a mixed bag of stuff. So there's some useful boxes, which might be good for, say, Frostgrave or Vanguard or anything that requires just scenery. And to be honest, the boxes are so generic they could work anywhere up to modern day really, or certainly sort of late 20th century. So they're fine. Same for the barrels really. There is a barrel here with a lid off. Yeah, it looks like they're meant to be sat that way, so the lid off is upwards. There isn't a separate lid, so one always has its lid off. But again, they would work in any setting. Just some sort of masonry rubble. Yeah. That might be useful on a multi-base and say Kings of War or something like that. I'll show you a multi-base for Kings of War if you don't know what it is. So this is my goblins. So if I could easily put that on there, take a couple of models off. Yeah, that would work alright actually. Probably more useful in some ways for something like that than as scenery in some games, I would think. Depends on your setting, of course. We've got broken barrels and some broken wood. Again, would look great in maybe Guild Ball or Vanguard or Frostgrave. Similarly here, another one. Bit more masonry debris. Just some timber, really. Just some wooden logs. I guess you could put it down however you want. That way is probably most sensible. Any setting. Old West. Anything, really. They are stacked, but that's it. And then you get a few nice little bits. So here, I'll have to hold these up close to the camera because you're not going to see it otherwise. You get 2 skulls, 1 single rat, and a little group of 3 rats. Yeah, just little pieces really, aren't they? Use them in anything, absolutely anything. Stick these on top of your corn berserkers or something, no problem at all. Right, let's move on to the walls. So, these again suffer from the soft PVC, so you'd have to bend those. You can bend them easily, but same for this one, which is needs rebending in 2 directions, along the base and along this way. Again, just the hot water trick will be fine on those. So what do you get? You get 1, 2, 3 decent lengths of walling, and then you get a stone wall and another one which makes another decent length. There are some buttresses as well, so you can make corner pieces, which is quite nice, and these have got a nice, I'd say more fantasy than medieval feel to them with the tops on, but yeah, they look very good in Reekland or Mantica or anywhere you want, really. Yeah, they're pretty good. Now, how do they look compared to miniatures? Well, let's put some different miniatures down. So these are one of my 40k different sizes of 40k Death Guard that I've got. So you've got a normal 25mm base, a 40mm base and a big 60mm base there. You can see, get those out of your way, so you can see how they look there. Not bad at all. I'm just going to... So I just zoomed in a little bit so you can see a little bit more clearly the sizing. Let's take those away for a moment. I'm going to put a multi-base of Games Workshop's Mantic Goblins next to that. So again, you can see how they look for scaling. Not bad. Very nice, in fact. This is just got a different selection of miniatures to show you the sizing. This is a Reaper Bones two-headed ogre. I think the name of a two-headed ogre, but that's what it is. And there's a Mantic Goblin Wizard on a single base next to it. Again, just showing the scale differences. And then finally, I don't have any AOS miniatures or anything like that, but these are some Reapers at the front, some old GW Lord of the Rings, and some at the back here. We've got some slightly more modern Games Workshop miniatures. So you can see that from a scaling point of view, they look pretty good. Fencing and hedges. So again, in this box I've got 2 packs of these. Let's look at them one piece at a time. So this is hedging. I'm not a big fan of hedges that are done in plastic, to be brutally honest. These ones look okay, but I'm still not sold on that. Yeah. Fences. Surprisingly, these fences have suffered less with warping than some of the walls. So we've got several here, some slightly broken ones, one with a gate in. Yeah, they look good. We'll show you the scaling on those as well in a second. We've got a signpost. What part of the old world, Mantica, wherever you want to be, would not look good with a signpost telling you where Altdorf is. And then we've got some slightly fancy, like more fancy than medieval, I would say, cut stakes with a chain across. So you'd put these in front of your troops, I guess. You might even put these on a multi-base again. So I'm going to show you again with a multi-base. So if you're making Kings of War armies, you could easily put that on there, take up part of your base, and then have your archers, for instance, behind it. That'd be quite a nice look to your force. While we've got these out, we'll show you what the hedgerows look like in relation to them as sizing. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, hedges, really, sometimes we think they're a bit small, but hedges, really, you can't see over. Certainly not British hedgerows, which most medieval things are based on, of course. Pretty sure European hedgerows, I should say. fencing, again, scaling purposes, looks quite good. I'm going to show you with the Death Guard characters again. I guess if you're on some sort of primitive world, they might be suitable to have this sort of fencing. And again, with the hedgerow there, again, blocking line of sight quite effectively. So, okay, that's all the bits from the Terrain Crate Battlefield box. We're now going to have a look at the King's Coffers. So this is the King's Coffers box, Terrain Crate box. Shows you what it gets inside. Doesn't look that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. But you're paying $7.99 for this at a recommended retail price, so you'll probably be able to pick it up at 10 or 20% less than that in a lot of places. There's not masses in it, but at that price range, it's quite easy to pick up. Just, you know, pick up one, add it to your purchases that you're doing that month. It's not going to break the bank by any means. Let's have a look inside. Ooh, I must say, I wasn't expecting a plastic tray. This is what it comes like, so it's protected. This is, I guess, is meant to be in there, but the bag is actually bigger than the components, so I don't think we need all of that, but never mind, we'll look at that in a moment. So yeah, it comes in this little plastic tray. That's quite neat, I guess. Keeps these actually quite locked in, which is good, so they should arrive to you in pretty good nick. So it's a slightly, it looks like a Nurgle Death Guard paint scheme. That's odd, but never mind. So you've got this little pedestal. That's quite nice. You can put whatever you want on that, and there's some items in this pack that are designed to go on top. We'll look at it in a second. There's like a pile here of treasure chests or travelling chests, some maps on them. That would look very good in any sort of setting with a dungeon, or, you know, generals planning out their activities. We've got here a collection of armour. It is just a pile of armour, so it's not a throne or dead people or anything like that. You see it's a little bit bent there. Again, just a hot water technique will sort that out. That looks quite good. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not very interesting in some ways, but it's a useful feature to put in dungeons. You don't really do anything, of course. And then a sword and a stone. Sword and a stone. Reminds me of a story once. I guess with this you could probably create some quite good narrative element to your role playing, or Vanguard, Frostgrave, those sorts of things. Yeah, I guess that's quite good. And then let's have a little look what's in this oversized bag. Well, there's two things in this oversized bag. One is a tiny little purse of coins, which I'm going to put on my finger. Is, I think, really smart. That's really nice. Bit tricky in that it's very small, but obviously purse of coins are. You easily lose that. But I think they look great in Frostgrave or a role-playing game. You could really work a good narrative into that being of relevance. And then we've got what is a crown on a cushion. Okay, again, I'll just pop it on my finger there. Yeah, so that looks okay, but what it's obviously meant to do is to sit on top of this pedestal. I'll just tip it a little bit so you can see it on the camera more nicely. I don't know why they didn't put it on the thing straight away. I guess they want to give you the option of using the pedestal for something else. I don't particularly think the crown on a cushion is particularly interesting, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, it might be useful. You don't see too many crowns hanging around, that's the thing, do you? So yeah, there we go. A small pack, not much, not too much in it, but $7.99. I guess that's, yeah, not an unreasonable price for a interesting little bunch of stuff. I mean, it's the price of one miniature, really, isn't it, to get that terrain. So yeah, I like it. So I hope you liked that review. Obviously Terrain Crate is fantasy and science fiction as well for Mantic, and they're going to be evolving that range, I think, over time. It's been a successful line for them for a while, and you know, obviously the packages as they aren't all out yet, but some will, more will be coming over the next year, I'm sure. and I think you can see that they're reasonably priced and they're quite sort of useful in lots of little ways that you could use them in either your fantasy games, science fiction games, or in things like D&D if you want to use miniatures when you play that, or any game that you can use really, Frostgrave for instance, that sort of thing. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Listen out for us on the Way to Fire YouTube. So please like, comment and subscribe. Listen out for us on the Way to Fire podcast, and follow us on the Way to Fire Facebook page. So thanks very much for watching.